Alright. Shalom, brothers and sisters. It's your brother Anayata back out here on these Moab Kingdom streets. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High, Father, and the Holy Spirit, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kahakodash. And double honors to all elders out there who rule well and are feeding the flock and bringing them up in the right way. And peace and love to all the brothers out there doing the work on these highways and byways in these last days, speaking truth and sincerity to bring this current world, one world system down. All right, so today we're going to get in. The Spirit jumped on me, having watched some videos this weekend and getting my mind right. Yeah, you know, we could talk about women and stuff like that, and we could talk about how Israel needs to come back to the Most High and stuff like that, but also too, time that we're leading into, all that stuff is going to fix itself and iron itself out. But the time that we're moving into is the time of destruction of this system, right? This economic system that we're under right now. And so, leading the way will be Babylon the Great, known as Sodom and Egypt in the Holy Scriptures, also known as America. If you're, just to clarify things, right? When you think of Babylon the Great, when you think of, so you brothers that are new to the faith, when you think of Babylon the Great, when you think of Babylon the Great and in Revelations when they say Babylon the Great, Sodom and Egypt, they're talking about America. Now, so as America goes, will the rest of the world follow? Because the world's economy is tied in to whatever happens to America, right? Like you saw back in 2008 when we had the housing crash, when the bubble burst, we had the housing crash in America. That affected the economy out here in the land of Moab, right? So whatever way the economy goes in America, whatever vain philosophies become popular in America, that also affects the rest of the world. And it's no different than out here in Moab. So a lot of the scriptures that you brothers go into back home, back in the belly of the beast, those scriptures can also be applied to the kingdom of Moab as well. And so, getting into it, we're going to talk about, first we're going to go into about Edom Esau, right, the so-called white man, and his role in these last days, and how his wickedness is going to lead to the destruction of all things. Good, so let's jump into 2 Kings. Let me see something real quick. Just bear with me, brothers. Okay, good. So let's go to 2 Kings 8 and 22, talking about Edom Esau and all his wickedness. And then we're going to get into some scriptures about what his wickedness is going to cause. Good. So let's see here. Bear with me, brothers. Get into 2 Kings. Good. So 2 Kings 8 and 22. Good. 2 Kings 8 and 22. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day, and Libnah revolted at the same time. Right. So right now, Edom in their rulership of this planet Earth, they're revolting against the righteousness of Judah as it was supposed to be from the very beginning. However, when Israel went off and following the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, that's when we lost our preeminence, right? Which is caused Edom. Even from the day when we still had our preeminence, they were always revolting. But the reason why we still have control is because the Lord was with us. But now, as we have gone off from following the law, statutes, and commandments, the Lord is no longer with us, and so the world has been transferred over into Edom's hands, right, so to speak. And what has Edom done with all his power? Right, so let's see. Let's jump into. Let's go into. You know what? Good. And since we fell off, what happened was the preeminence over this current world system has been handed over to the Edomites. And so, just to back that point up, let me find. Good. Yeah, let me jump down to Job 9:24. Right, so since we went off, this is what happened. Jump into Job 9:24. Just to prove some things. Job 9:24. Bear with me, brothers. Bear with me. We're moving and grooving good. Job 9:24. Good. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right. So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Since Edomites have been in power since I want to say roughly around the time of the Renaissance, which sprang out of Europe during the late 1400s, early 1500s. Edom has steadily gained power up until this point now, where they run the whole world, right? So, and the scriptures ask, if not, where and who is he? If it's, this is a rhetorical question. If Esau is not the wicked, then who is he, right? Because they control all facets of life. When you talk about the economy, you talk about social harmony, when you talk about preservation of natural order of things, nature, animals and stuff like that. And how has he handled the natural order of things, right? Or in his rulership, how has he handled the world? Wickedly, right? If not, who and where is he, right? If it's not Esau, then who is it, right? They tell you, the police, they'll tell you when you want to solve a crime, they tell you to follow the money, right? So if you were to follow the money of all the major Fortune 500 companies in the world, that money, it stipends up, and at the very top is going to be sitting a so-called Edomite, right, which is a white man, right? And the scriptures ask a rhetorical question: if not, where and who is he? And what did and this is the wicked part. One of the most wicked parts that they did is during the Renaissance time, there was a process known as whitewashing, also called iconoclasm, right? And what so-called painters and artisans at that time, what they did was they took a lot of the old paintings and they whitewashed the faces of the saints, right? And then even less so, the faces of the nobles and the kings who were ruling Europe at that time, right? And they made them all white. But when you go into the Russian icon book, the Russians, they have the book where it shows the original paintings of the saints, right, as dark-skinned men with woolly hair, right? Also, a lot of the coats of arms throughout Europe, those family crests, those were black men, right? When we fled out of Israel, right? When we scattered after the invasion of Israel in 69 AD, right? Good. So yeah, so they covered the face. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, right? And that's what Esau did, right? Anytime you talk about men of prominence in history or whatever like that, they always over whitewash it and turn that person into a white person, right? Like even more recently, it's been starting to come out. There's been a big debate going on about the ethnicity of Shakespeare, right? Because many people have found out that wait a minute. Edomites were in such a small number during that time. Even though we were going through the Renaissance, Edomites were still in a small number at that time. They were just starting to come into power. And so what happened was even with Shakespeare, right? They rewrote him. They reclassified him, or re-whitewashed him, or whitewashed him, I should say, matter of fact, Salakia. And have him, they have the whole world thinking that Shakespeare is a goddamn white man, right? And now they're trying to say that Shakespeare was a black woman, which in any case, we know he wasn't white, right? So that's for damn sure. Good. You think about the great composers and the musicians of the time, right? So not only did blacks create all modern music, right, starting from ragtime, then that leading into blues, and then that leading into jazz and rock and roll and so on and so forth. You know the rest. But also classical music, right? Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, and all them. All of them, when you dig deeper, right? All of them were black men, right? If you can get your hands on the original paintings or the original sayings of these people, right? And it's all starting to come out, like it's written in Revelation. The earth will open up and swallow the flood of lies that Esau has told, right? And that's what you have happening now with technology, right? Everybody has access to the internet, and everything is posted on the internet, right? And so it's starting to open up that, wait a minute, these so-called white people that we follow, that we fear, that we revere on such a high level, they ain't shit, right? So-called Edomites. Good. So reading on. Well, actually, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? That's talking about so-called Edom Esau. So that's who you know who he is, right? And so as a wicked person, how did Esau rule? We already know how that goes. So let's see. Romans 9 and 22. Salakia brothers, bear with me. Good. Going to Romans 9:22. Good. Good. And let's see how the Most High, first, before we jump into Romans 9 and 22, let's see how the Most High feels about Esau. 9 and 13, Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, Jacob is Israel. But Esau, the so-called white man, have I hated. Right? Good. Romans 9 and 22. Let's jump down to 22. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And that's what the Most High has done.